Yo, hold up, man. Hold up. Because I think everybody blaming James Harden for this calf sweep is missing what really happened, man. Because if we keeping it real, Harden wasn't the problem, man. But I also can't sit here and be like, hey, he wasn't part of the problem either. And that's where this gets interesting, man. Because the Knicks didn't just beat the Cavs, man. They stripped Cleveland of who they were. Straight like that, man. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to JG Speaks, man. I'm JG. And today we got to talk about them Cleveland Cavaliers getting swept by the New York Knicks because I keep seeing everybody say the same things, man. Harden sold. The Cavs lost the trade. Darius Garland would have saved them. But nah, it ain't that simple, dog. It ain't that simple. Because once I look deeper into the numbers after really watching this game, I started realizing, man, Cleveland wasn't just losing, man. They was getting broke down piece by piece, man. Straight like that, man. Let's start with this game 4, man. Because this is where the whole series got disrespectful, man. At the end, man, they just gave up hope, man. The Knicks beat Cleveland 130 to 93. Not 110 to 105. Not a close game that got away late. 130 to 93. That was Cleveland's largest playoff home loss ever. And when you lose like that at home in an elimination style moment, this ain't just a bad night. That's somebody coming into your house and taking everything, man. Straight like that, man. You feel me? It's just crazy. This wasn't a loss. This was a message. But the score doesn't even tell the whole story, man. The numbers worse than that. You know what I'm saying? New York had 67 rebounds. Cleveland had 38. You know what I'm saying? That's almost 30 more rebounds, bro. That ain't normal, bro. You feel me? That's not just effort, that's domination. And it get worse than that. The Knicks had 20 offensive boards. The Cavs had 6. New York had 32 second chance points. Cleveland had 5. 32 to 5. Just let that sit in for a little minute, man. Just let it sit in, dog. It's outrageous, man. I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? But every time Cleveland thought they gotta stop, they really didn't, man. You feel me? That's the part that breaks teams down mentally, man, because you play defense for 20 seconds, you force a little miss, you feel me? The crowd, wants to breathe. The bench wants to get up. And then the Knicks get an offensive rebound, put back, or kick out 3, or foul, or another possession. Now, instead of getting out and running, you defending again. And that's exhausting, man. That's exhausting type of basketball, man. Don't nobody want that. It became miss, Knicks rebound, put back, miss, Knicks rebound again, kick out, miss, Knicks rebound, free throws. Man, that's not just losing a glass. That's losing your soul in the paint, my guy. Straight like that, man. And that's like trying to fight somebody and they getting 3 punches for every 1 punch you throw. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, man. So let's talk about why Cleveland really lost this game, man, in this series, man. It wasn't just because they missed shots. It wasn't just because Harden didn't look like Houston Harden. It wasn't just because Mitchell had to carry too much. The Knicks beat Cleveland in areas Cleveland usually depends on, man, and that's physicality, rebounding, defense, effort, tempo, toughness. That's the real issue, man. That's the real issue right there, man. You know, the Cavs, they offense got completely choked out, man. Straight like that, man. If Cleveland was one of the better offenses during the regular season, that's what I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? But it's regular season. I know we're going to get all into I know people going to get at me like, hey, man, the playoffs different, man. Woo, 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 woo. That's understandable. But Hey, against New York, man, everything looked hard to them, man. No easy rhythms, man. No clean flow. No comfortable possessions. No consistent pace. Everything just looked like work to them, man. You know what I'm saying? This one, shots just ain't falling. This was, we don't even recognize our offense no more, man. That's how it felt like, man, because the Knicks crowded the paint. They made Donovan Mitchell work for everything out there. He looked terrible. They made Harden uncomfortable. It been like that the whole series, man. They stayed connected defensively. They forced Cleveland into possessions where somebody had to create something late in the clock every time. You know what I'm saying? And that's not how Cleveland wanted to play. That wasn't the game plan. When Cleveland is at their best, man, they flowing, man. You know, they drive it. They kick. Quick decisions, man. Mitchell applying pressure out there. Harden organizing the offense. Role players getting rhythm. And y'all at home. Role players supposed to show up at home, man. But against New York, nah, man. Nah. It felt like Cleveland was playing uphill every possession, man. Every possession. And we finna get into these effort stats, man. When both teams are in a physical playoff game, it usually come down to the ugly stats, man. Right here. That's what we looking at, y'all. Rebounds, offensive rebounds, turnovers, fast break points, second chance points, points off turnovers. And New York dominated all that, man. They shut it out. The Knicks had 33 fast break points, man. And Cleveland had 9. The Knicks had 34 points off turnovers. And Cleveland had 18. The Cavs had 22 turnovers. 22. Man, come on, man. You ain't gonna win like that, man. You can't turn the ball over 22 times against a team like New York and expect to survive. Ain't no way, man. You feel me? Ain't no way. That's not it's not giving the Knicks opportunity. That's not giving the Knicks opportunity. It's handing them the game, man. It's like basically they're just giving them the keys to the coop, man. You feel me? Because now New York don't even have to work for everything. Live ball turnovers, runouts, layups, bad passes, transition threes, loose handle, easy dunk. And now the crowd is quiet. The Cavs looking around. The Knicks talking. You feel me? The pressure just keep building, man. It just kept building the whole time, dog. You feel me? And that's how you have momentum shifters. It seemed like it just lasted the whole game. You feel me? They ain't never getting the Cavs ain't never getting no rhythm at all. You feel me? Now, the first momentum shift was the offensive glass, man. Early in that game, man, Cleveland didn't even look amazing, man. But they still hung around for a minute, man. They still hung around at first, man. They were competing at first. They was trying to get some stops. But the problem was those stops weren't really stops, man. You feel me? New York kept getting extra possessions, man. That was the problem. Cleveland would defend that first action, force a tough shot, and get the miss, but they couldn't finish the possession. And that's what matters. That's what matters, man. They couldn't finish the possession. Because in the playoff basketball, defense doesn't end when the shot goes up, man. Defense ends when somebody secures the rebound. That's just how it go, man. You feel me? And that type of play right there wears you down, man, physically and mentally. Because every offensive rebound feels like New York saying, we want this more than you. And after a while, man, the stats, it just starts showing. Everything just starts showing, man. You feel me? And they was a perfect example. A perfect example of that. You feel me? The second momentum shift was, turnovers, man. Turning into easy points, man. Cleveland had 22 turnovers. New York turned those into 34 points, man. That's wild. That's ugly right there. Made me want to start watching it, dog. For real. That mean Cleveland wasn't just making mistakes. They were getting punished immediately. You feel me? That's a difference between a turnover going out of bounds and a turnover turning into 2 points on the other end. Against New York, those mistakes become damage. You feel me? And the Cavs couldn't recover from it at all the whole 4 quarters, man. The whole 48 minutes. You feel me? The Cavs looked like they were running in quicksand, man. They trying to get back. They were trying to get back, man, trying to match up, trying to stop the bleeding. But New York is already downhill by that time. You feel me? And once a team starts getting confidence off your mistakes, now you got a real problem, man. You got a real problem. You feel me? And then the knockout punch came, man. When they hit that 20-0 run. You know, that's when the game stopped feeling competitive, man. That's when it all stopped being about adjustments. It stopped being about rotations. It stopped being about matchups. At that point, man, it became just survival mode, man, at that point, man. You know, when the team hits you with a 20-0 run in the playoffs, they ain't just beating you, man. They breaking you, man. They sucking all the life out you. You know, that run told the whole story, man. The Knicks were getting stops. They was running. They was rebounding. They was getting easy points, and Cleveland had no answer. No counterpunch. No momentum reset. You know, no player who could grab the game and say, nah, we not going out like that. We ain't going out like that, cuz. You feel me? But apparently, man, none of that happened, man. You feel me? None of that. None of it. You feel me? And that's why I say New York had the better identity, man. The Knicks knew who they were. They were physical. They was connected. They were tough. They played with force. They made the game ugly. And they was comfortable in the ugly, man. You feel me? Cleveland wasn't comfortable at all at home. Cleveland wanted rhythm. New York gave them pressure. Cleveland wanted spacing. New York gave them bodies. Cleveland wanted flow. New York gave them chaos. The Knicks made the Cavs play a game they didn't even want to play, man. We got to keep it real, man. They been had quick. You feel me? And when that happened, Cleveland started looking like a team searching for answers instead of a team imposing its will. You feel me? That's crazy, man. Like, this is what y'all been waiting for right here, man. Let's talk about the Harden trade, man. You feel me? Because this is where everybody wants to go, man. Did Cleveland lose the trade? I'm just saying. For this season's championship goal. Did they? And yeah, you got to say yes. You got to. Because they made that move to win now. It was a win now transaction. You feel me? They traded Darius Garland and a second-round pick for James Harden because they wanted another creator next to Donovan Mitchell, man. They wanted another engine. They wanted somebody who could take the pressure off of Mitchell when the playoff defenses load up, man. And to be fair, Harden helped them get there. We got to keep it real. He helped them get there, man. It don't matter how he did it. He helped them get there. He helped them get to the conference finals. He wasn't useless. He wasn't really terrible. You know what I'm saying? This ain't me saying Harden can't play basketball anymore. But the problem is Cleveland didn't trade for Harden just to be okay. They traded for him to solve a playoff problem. I don't understand what they seen in it, though, because Harden was always a flop in the playoffs his whole career. But anyway, it didn't solve the problem against New York. New York was the problem, man. He became a part of it, man. You know what I mean? So the Mitchell Harden backcourt looked good in theory because you thinking, you know, 2 shot creators, 2 ball handlers, 2 dudes who can control offense, but defensively, that's where the cracks started showing, man. New York could attack the backcourt. They could make them work. They could pressure them. You feel me? They could drag them into the physical possession. And once their offensive strengths was dominating, the defense issues became louder and louder and louder, man, for Cleveland, man. You feel me? It all started in game 1 with against these Knicks, man. You feel me? Now hold up, because after watching game 4, I started asking myself something. When did this actually start? That's when I was like, it started game 1. It had to. I had to go back, man. I had to go back and do some research because Cleveland didn't just wake up one day and get beat by 37. The falloff started in game one against the Knicks. You feel me? That's when it all started. The game one changed the whole emotional tone of the series, man. You feel me? Cleveland had New York on the ropes the whole time. A 22-point fourth quarter lead at home. The crowd rocking. Everything looking like Cleveland was about to take control of the series. Then slowly, bucket, stop, bucket, stop, pressure, pressure, pressure. The Knicks just kept coming, man. You feel me? And then overtime happened. New York dominated overtime. It was a 14-3. You feel me? After that, Cleveland looked different, man. They ain't even look as free, man. They ain't even look as confident no more. They ain't even look like the team that had control, man. They looked like a team that knew they gave one away. That's straight like that, man. You feel me? Couldn't stop the bleeding at all. I think Cleveland stopped playing to win and started playing they started playing not to lose at that point. You feel what I'm saying? And once that happens, especially in the playoffs, everything tightens up. Shots get heavier, passes get slower, decisions take longer, players start hesitating. And when you hesitate against a physical team like New York, they eat that up. They eat it up, bro. You feel me? That's where Harden's production fell off at. You feel me? And production matters, man. You feel me? I guess I want to count the other games, the other series, but man, this game made it hard too. But we gotta go off the facts though, man. Against Atlanta, Harden was around 20.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. He scored, but the efficiency was shaky. You know, that was more of a get-by round to me, in my opinion. Against Toronto, he was around 20.6 points, 5.3 rebounds, 6.1 assists. That was probably his best overall round, that one. You know, it was better balance, better shooting for him, better playmaking. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. Then when he get to Detroit, you see it fall off. He was around 19.6. That's still all right. 5.1 rebounds, 6.4 assists. He was still productive, but more up and down. You know, he had big moments, but also some rough games. You feel me? Then against New York, around 16 points, 4.8 rebounds, 3 assists. That's where the drop-off showed. The Knicks did not just make James Harden miss shots. They made James Harden less useful. They made him less useful, man. That's the bigger deal because against Toronto and Detroit, Harden could still organize offense. He could manipulate matchups. He could get guys involved. He could slow down the game, control the pace. But against New York, he became more of a slow isolation scorer who wasn't creating enough advantage, basically. And when Cleveland needed them most, they got fewer assists, worse three-point shooting, less pace, less defensive resistance, less rim pressure. That makes the trade look worse in hindsight when you look at it, man. Well, let me wrap this up, man. It's getting me a little upset, man. It ain't even my team, man. But here's the final verdict. Here's my final verdict, y'all. The Cavs didn't get swept just because of James Harden. But the Harden trade became part of the story because Cleveland made a win now move. And when the win now moment came, the roster still wasn't built to beat a tough, connected Knicks team. Bottom line, bro. Garland may not have saved the team either. Can't stay healthy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend Darius Garland automatically wins that series. But Harden was supposed to raise Cleveland's ceiling right now. Right now. And instead, against New York, Cleveland looked older. They looked slower defensively and still didn't have a playoff-proof offense. So check this out, man. The Harden trade may have raised Cleveland's regular season ceiling, but against the Knicks, it lowered their playoff flexibility straight up, bro. And when one team beats you by almost 30 rebounds, get 32 second chance points, get 33 fast break points, scores 34 points off your turnovers, and hit you with a 20-0 run, that ain't just basketball, man. That's one team taking your heart straight out your chest, my guy. Straight out your chest, man. So I gotta ask y'all, man, did the Cavs lose the Harden trade? Or did the Knicks just expose problems that were already there, man? Because to me, the answer might be both. It might be both, man. Drop it in the comments, man. Show some love, man. Subscribe, please. And I'll catch y'all on the next JG Speaks, man. I'm out.